Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear viewers, Assalamu alaikum. I'm your host Faisal Raza Khan and you are watching Foresight. Viewers, as you all know, that generalized scheme of preferences, which we all know as GSP Plus, is a special trade arrangement offered to the developing economies by European nations in return for their commitments to implement 27 international conventions on human rights, environmental protection and governance. Pakistan got GSP Plus facility in 2013 and subsequently this facility was implemented or came into force on 1st of January 2014. Since then, Pakistan enjoying duty-free and tax-free access to the for its exports to the European market, earning precious foreign exchange reserves. If we go through the Pakistan's exports, out of total exports, 30% of its chunk belongs to the European market, and Pakistan only just previous year of 2022, Pakistan exports to the European market were at least 8 billion euros, which if we convert into the rupees, this is more than 24 billion rupees of exports to the European market. So in these 10 years, Pakistan got successful access to the European market, and due to which Pakistan's exports enhanced at least 14.9%. It is almost 15% of its total exports to the overall scenario within 10 years. And when we are talking about that, now the GSP Plus framework will come to an end in December this year, and 10 years will complete this whole GSP Plus scheme. European Union proposed 4 years of extension into the GSP Plus so that avoid any sort of cliffing for those 8 countries, including Pakistan, so that this scheme goes on, and Pakistan's commitment must have to be adhered on 27 international conventions. Now, for this particular matter, very interesting statement by the European ambassador to Pakistan, Ms. Rina Kayonika, and this statement she has given on July 9th, 2023. First of all, we just have this statement, what she said, and then afterwards we will start our discussion.
Proposed extension of the current regulation for GSP Plus in effect means no change for Pakistan at the moment. It means actually that Pakistan enjoys the same preferences, trade preferences, access to the European market. It also has the same obligations as before in terms of implementing effectively the 27 international human rights, labor rights, environment, and governance conventions. It also means that the EU will continue to monitor progress and backsliding, and we will continue to report to the European Parliament and the member state. The proposed continuation of the extension of the current regulation doesn't apply only to Pakistan, it applies to all 8 beneficiary countries of GSP+. The main issue here is to avoid a kind of cliff at the end of the year. Nobody wants that to happen, certainly not the European Union, because it would mean a sudden stop to the trade preferences, which would affect Pakistani exporters. It would affect certainly the factory workers and their families. It would affect European businesses who rely on Pakistani suppliers, and in effect also would affect European consumers.
So viewers, as you have just heard the statement of the European ambassador to Pakistan, and it's a very positive development that European Union thinks about, that the countries like Pakistan which are developing economies, their support is a must, and especially when they are confronting lots of challenges like the terrorism, like climatic changes, as Pakistan passed through a very difficult phase of 2022 when we have seen a devastating flood when 1/3 of the country was underwater. And now the situation is that this generalized scheme of preferences, GSP Plus, is going to end this year on 31st of December. and we have just gone through the 4th review, which was based upon 2020 to 2022 performance of Pakistan on all 27 conventions, international conventions, how their implementation is done. And this report is very encouraging, very positive in favor of Pakistan, and that's why this statement came from the European ambassador to Pakistan. Now, first question that is related to this report and the European Union ambassador's remarks, we have in our studios Saira Ejaz. She is the senior analyst. Along with her, we have Dr. Wasim Ishaq. Thank you very much for your presence in studios. And we have online Brigadier Retired Hamid Rashid Malik Sahib. He is also with us online, so thank you very much for your presence as well, sir. First question that is related to the European ambassador's interview. How do you rate this 4 years proposed extension of the GSP Plus for Pakistan?
For me, I think it's a very positive and development, and it's an exceptional opportunity for Pakistan to enhance its trade and development, especially when the times when Pakistan's economy is being, going through very hard times. If you see the report, review report, the most encouraging and the most, they are more satisfied with the legislative implementations and the policies Pakistan's government have introduced. But the weaker side, and on the side which they have mentioned, is that the government of Pakistan needs to work on the human rights of its citizens, freedom of expression and the women's rights, children's rights, and particularly labor rights. So I guess now it's time to review as well that what the Pakistan government needs to do. And there are certain regulatory obstacles they have mentioned, and which if we on urgent and priority basis we need to work on those regulatory obstacles.
What are those regulatory options or
obstacles?
hurdles?
Yeah, and the there are 3. Number 1, the custom procedures, because we have to provide them single window procedure, single window system where the businessmen feel ease to do their business in the country, because at federal and at national level there are so many steps are involved, so many hurdles are involved, so which are discouraging for the businessmen, be it national or be it foreign.
I think so. To some sort, SIFC, the Special Investment Facilitation Council, addressed these issues.
Yeah.
Regarding one
and
window
now there is a
businessmen and
need to have
investors.
effective policies and effective implementation on those as well. Then comes the transparency matter, because there is a lack of transparency, because if people are investing their money, businesses, companies, particularly international investors are investing their finance here, so they need a very...
Definitely we will talk in detail regarding transparency and corruption.
My third thing is that the development of infrastructure. Government has to take very seriously the matter of this infrastructure development, be it ports, be it railway networks, be it the airports. We have to provide these things to
Definitely,
the investors.
your point well taken. And Dr. Wasim, if you throw light that what is the most significant in the 4th review report regarding the GSP Plus, because it is just issued by the European Union.
If you just see the environments when Pakistan was going through a very hard time of war on terrorism, as well as the energy insecurity back in 2013, I think that was the peak time when even in Islamabad we had more than 10 hours load shedding. And this was the time which no country was there to support Pakistan. During those prevailing strategic environments, European Union came forward to support Pakistan. And even at that time we said that we want trade, not the aid. So in that perspective and in that context, EU gave us a GSP plus status, which was a very preferential treatment. In that case, our textile industries, the garment industries, exports were to reach the European markets without any interruption and with almost on zero tariff. So now fast forward to today. Today Pakistan is far more stabilized than 2013 and 14.
Yeah, obviously.
We have very less problems of energy security, and war on terrorism is also now eliminated to a large extent. So, and the infrastructure, the ports conditions, the railway infrastructure, the road infrastructure has considerably increased than 2013.
So now, what is significant in the report, if you just gone through the report?
In that report, basically this is yet another opportunity provided to Pakistan, because Pakistan, through that report they testify that Pakistan has adhered to all those 27 conventions which Pakistan ratified, based on which actually Pakistan was given the preferential treatment. However, they have described certain challenges in that, and those challenges basically, because of our certain political stability issues in last 5 years, they created certain environments due to which the investment remained hampered, and due to which two-way traffic on trade flow also was challenged because of the prevailing environment. So, in that context, the current setup of SIFC, and I am sure the improved infrastructure by the phase 1 of CPAC and the improved energy security would address all those issues and all those concerns which have been highlighted in their report. And the concern on the freedom of expression and the freedom of the political parties, this issue still remains, but I am sure as we are progressing towards the national elections, so in those elections the transparent conduct of those elections would further testify that Pakistan, those challenges which have been highlighted, we have befittingly fulfilled all those challenges, and Pakistan would again, with all our hopes, would be given the status of another 4 years for GSP plus, and that would actually open the new era of Pakistan's export market, because today Pakistan exports stand at around $30 billion, out of which almost half of is going to EU. So, in that way Pakistan would be getting a preferential treatment, and that would add a lot to our ailing economy.
Definitely, no doubt about that. Pakistan's economy gain a lot of strength when EU has given this GSP plus. Brigadier retired Hamid, how do you see, particularly when EU acknowledge establishment of national commissions on human rights, then status of women, child rights, but questioning on minority rights commission, which is still pending. So how do you see that? Pakistan, although making a lot of progress on that, but that is still pending.
Faisal, we have to see it in larger context. While EU want Pakistan that it should contribute toward ailing economy, it should give Pakistan that breathing space and also opportunity for enhancing its trade as well as exports to EU. But at the same time, they always put certain conditions. If we see positively, these conditions are actually for the human development, for the human security, and for larger protection of the human rights as well as the labor rights, environment, as well as for the good governance. On the face value, all these international conventions, they are basically for a more progressive, developed community as well as for the masses. But
regarding,
there are certain conditions and there are certain strings attached to it, which actually they want that all the progressive economies and all the developing countries should follow the footprints of the European developed communities. Here I would like to say that this report is not only a silver lining for our industry, for silver lining for our economy, it also shows that Pakistan government, their policies are in the right direction. Pakistan human right protection is the right direction. As well minority right is concerned, it always has been a debate as well as Europe is concerned, as well as Islamic countries is concerned, or even China is concerned. So from Pakistani perspective, what we see that Islam and Islamic principles provide a lot of protection to minorities. And if we go by our own constitutions, there are certain rights and protections which has given to the minorities for their religious obligations, for their civil protection and rights for the jobs, for education, elsewhere also. So I think this point will not hamper as far as Pakistan GSP status is concerned, and it as far as the Legislative Council is concerned with the new government coming into place, I think this issue will also be addressed.
Okay. Brigadier Hamid, your point well taken. Sarah, EU's this fourth review report also shows concern on Pakistan's vulnerability to climate change as well, and they have particularly mentioned about Pakistan's own given nationally determined contributors. That is, the contribution is that 50% of the emission would be cut down by 2030, and then also they have mentioned about increase in the particularly protected areas from 12% to 15%. But it is very slow on that pace. How do you see that? Because Pakistan is really very vulnerable, and this is a very important point which EU has already mentioned.
Green resilience and the green economy should be the ultimate, you know, plan or ultimate vision for any government, and particularly for Pakistan, who is the sufferer and the least emitter of the carbon dioxide and the greatest sufferer or in the top 10 list of that list.
So how when we are talking about, because it is a benchmark when we are talking about, because environmental protection is a benchmark within the 27 international conventions. And when EU is concerned about climate change, Pakistan is also concerned about the climatic changes. Pakistan is the most sufferer of the climatic changes. How do you rate it that why we are slow down on that?
Because there are so many issues and so many factors involved in it. There is, you know, overall COVID-19 has affected all the economies of the world. Pakistan is not alone in this, I guess. China's economy is not that vibrant the way it was before 2019. I think there are so many factors, but now I can see that the government is, or Pakistan's government is planning or has some solid policies which will definitely have
Do you
impact.
think, Dr. Wasim, these are the reasons why Pakistan is slowed down a bit on that account?
No, but let me highlight first that Pakistan has taken a wide step, that it has issued its national climate change policy, which was never before. Then the climate change
and that is very robust one.
Very robust, and this climate change policy is already in line with our overall national security policy, which says the human security as the top priority. So in that context, Pakistan has also initiated certain steps for green development. So when we have a green development and also Green Pakistan initiative, through SIFC is a platform where all these investments would happen. I'm sure while we are also now controlling the emissions at the local level, we would create another environment where the urbanization would also have the climate effects, the mass road infrastructure would also have the climatic effects, and also a massive afforestation plan. So these are those main ingredients of our national climate policy. When it is implemented, which is the timeline is about 3 to 4 years. So I'm sure by end of 3 to 4 years, and the COP28 which is going to happen, the caretaker Prime Minister is also taking all these points, that what all Pakistan has done so far and what Pakistan expects from the international community to help in that context. So when all these steps are implemented, I'm sure at least within ourselves we have put our house in order, and it will start to generate very positive effects. So in that context, it is going to directly supplement our good report towards the GSP plus candidacy.
Yeah, definitely. And when Pakistan is also doing a lot regarding protection on the climatic changes particularly, and when we are talking about this COP28 is going to be held in Abu Dhabi, UAE now from 30th of this month, and Pakistani Prime Minister Anwarullah Kakar is going to participate in that. I think so that in that perspective, you are talking about that Pakistan is actually achieving those benchmarks which are already determined.
Yes, we have a very strong case to put in front of the world that we have achieved those benchmarks which we set ourselves. While the world has also concerns about our climate conditions, we ourselves are also self-accounting, and then we are worried about our climate protection. So in that case, the national climatic change policy, which has recently been issued, contains all those spheres under which we will be working on, and I'm sure then it is going to supplement our.
Another important aspect in the report is related to the political and economic corruption, accountability, and regarding politicizing of the legal cases. Now, National Accountability Bureau of Pakistan has the slogan, "Say no to corruption." Pakistan wants that this corruption must have to be eradicated from its soil. Even EU has the same stance. So we have a lot of convergence in that report. Do you think Pakistan is doing enough, and EU has what they have mentioned in the report, the apprehension they have, some sort of progress we have made in that account?
Faisal, this accountability and transparency, it is all evolving process. You can't just announce it that we have finished. So while we are evolving and these things are being implemented, I think through all those positive benchmarks, we have already achieved a lot. and we are still following the process. We have not finished it. So, as we progress, and I think the election would be a good benchmark when the new representative government would be there.
Also the political stability of the country.
Also the political stability, and at this point in time in Pakistan, all the state institutions have realized their respective responsibilities, and they are then trying to keep themselves through that constitutional platform within those constitutional responsibilities. That is eventually is actually strengthening our all the state institutions. So, this is a very positive sign, and that would strengthen the accountability and transparency within those departments by their respective representatives.
So, Saira, EU has appreciated Pakistan's anti-drug trafficking campaign and curbing this menace from its soil, but shown concern being the transit country. Yeah. So how do you see that? Because it's a huge challenge for Pakistan, and in that regard particularly, Pakistan needs European Union's and international community's help also. How you rate that?
Because you are right in that way, spot on, because it is a big challenge, and I guess for the decision of sending back illegal Afghanis are also one link of that entire chain, and I think that international community.
It's not even Afghans; it's the foreign nationals.
Foreign nationals, all illegal people residing in Pakistan. But this there is the two sides of this coin, because you see, transit country is being a transit country is a blessing and is a problem as well, because you provide lots of route, and there are ample of opportunities of trade and development and human development. Definitely. And chances. But same at the time of narcotics, drug smuggling, human smuggling, but you have to face lots and lots of problem as well. But I think the current policies which are being implemented, and if they are effectively implemented, we are able to tackle this issue. And now people and world is also realizing that it's not easy being a transit country to tackle this issue of narcotics and drugs. But I think this report also shows that some measures are being taken by the government of Pakistan. They appreciated it, and but again there is again a pressure, which I think there is a very clear political and elite will is there, and we can only wish that the only thing we need right now is the policy continuity.
Okay, okay. Brigadier Retired Hamid, if you elaborate on treaty implementation cells as well, because this is again a very important point, because European Union 4th review report says that these cells are working excellently in Sindh and Punjab provinces, but unfortunately in Balochistan and KPK they are working, but they are having insufficient funds. They are not much empowered. How do you say that?
As also alluded by Dr. Wasim, earlier the internal security situation in Balochistan and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa was not good, and because of that their representatives were not feeling safe to move around freely and monitor the things. But now with the security situation has been very good, and I think they are right to some extent, but they have to review their staff also, and they have to review their practices in these two provinces, and they have to collaborate with the civil establishment as well as the army being deployed there and the frontier constabulary. They will understand that the progress being made across the length and breadth of Pakistan is almost similar to each other. However, there can be certain gray areas and certain weaknesses in these two provinces, and that basically stems from the situation. As far as the policy framework is concerned at the federal and provincial level, this is streamlined, this is universal, and this is the same. Punjab is concerned as well as KBK and Balochistan is concerned. However, as far as the implementation is concerned, there may be, I think, unparalleled to each other. But this is not that gray area which cannot be addressed with the better law and order situation, with the better employment of the staff at the breadth and length of these two provinces. Hopefully, in next 4 to 5 months, they would see that their staff is moving freely in these two provinces also. And then the frontier constabulary as well as police as well as other law enforcement agencies are concerned will also be there to help them for their free move, for their monitoring of the human rights violation situation as well as the labor reforms are concerned, as well as the environment is concerned, and the good governance. What we see that all these benchmarks, these are, I think, good litmus test for any developing country also, that how it is progressing, not only as well as the statistics are concerned, but as well as the community of that country is concerned.
Thank you very much for your candid views. And Sarah, when we are talking about the National Compliance Center, uh, it is actually constituted to help attain international compliance. Along with that, to promote equitable growth, and also to end discrimination at the workplace. So, how do you see this center, and what about the requirements what the EU has already envisaged regarding Pakistan's next GSP Plus review?
I think there is a very vibrant work is being done in this perspective. We have many laws now and the policies being in place there to tackle this issue of workplace harassment and a safe environment for all, be it males or for females both. And over here, the EU officials and the concerned ministries are very much vibrant. They are in touch with each other. They hold various functions and various events to create awareness in this aspect. And I guess things are getting better in this aspect. And hopefully it because we have been granted this status for next 4 years. And I am quite hopeful that in coming 4 years, since we in this particular aspect we are on the right track, and we will be able to match the all
so
the.
So, Dr. Wasim, what's your take on it?
This would be third time that they would be extending our tenure. Previously 5 years, and now it will be another 4 years. By and large, Pakistan today and Pakistan's state institutions today, they are far more stable, far more advanced, and far more integrated as compared to, let's say, 2013, 14, or even 2017. Within Pakistan, the political stability has to a large extent returned, and we still hope for the best after the general elections. So, in that context, while the EU should be worried about the implementation of all those clauses which they have set for us, but we have developed over a period of time the strong mechanism, strong state institutions to make sure that those implementation is facilitated through these institutions.
Definitely.
So, in that context, when we are making a case for the next extension, we have very strong case that we are through the evolution process complying with all those 27 conventions, and there few concerns regarding the human rights and freedom of expression and freedom of political rights, etc. Those are also being handled to a large extent by the state institutions. So, I am not very positive that Pakistan would be granted one, and then not that it is just on the surface. We have through a state mechanism and through that institutions develop those things which they can be monitored.
So, Dr. Wasim, when we are talking about this report, generally it maintains that Pakistan from 2014 to 2023 made a lot of progress, took positive steps in implementation of lots of areas, domains, and even the conventions which EU has laid down for us. Now, do you agree that this report is very positive in a sense, and Pakistan is going to get what proposed for 4 years, or might be extended period?
One, that I am very optimistic that Pakistan has already complied on all those promises which Pakistan had set. Few challenges, and I said that those were as a result of the prevailing political instability over here in last 4-5 years. Those were the major concerns, or then fallout of that political instability. So, I am very positive that at present we have a very strong case for extension of at least 4 years, and then as we progress to the next elections and next government, it can be extended for even another one term, because by then we would have achieved a lot of infrastructure development, and a lot of the state institution would have already delivered on ground to make a very strong case later on.
So, Brigadier Hamid, do you think that one of the very important factor which this fourth review report mentioned, that Pakistan's exports to the EU market are largely dependent upon the textile products? Do you not think that Pakistan needs to diversify into its export products, particularly through value addition, and add on more of the products so that Pakistan gain much of the EU market?
Certainly, Faisal, I think this should be now on the cards for the policy framework for SAFC also and for the future governments also. We need to diversify our exports to EU, and EU provides a lot of potential for the trade volume to be increased. Presently, Pakistan has only focused on textile, hosiery, sports, and leather goods for EU. Whereas EU has a huge market for agriculture produce also, and the value addition food processed products. And we also see that the latest trend of the organic food and products in Europe, Pakistan can exploit its agriculture produce also and export it to the EU. Here I would like to say that this report is not only a silver lining for our industry, for our exports, for our trade, but it also shows how much progress we have made as well as a civilized democratic society is concerned. It also shows Pakistan diplomatic success also. EU is actually 27 countries and a bloc which has got a lot of influence as well as the international geoeconomics and geostrategic and politics is concerned. With our trade deficit decreasing, there will be a better exchange rate for Pakistan. That means the dollar will come down to 285, maybe another 250 are down. And this will give, I think, good news that the prices of the petroleum, prices of the electricity and gas will reduce. And Pakistan common people will also
Definitely,
get
definitely, Brigadier sir.
benefits of
For that matter, Pakistan has to enhance its exports volume. Then also that will give us the real-time foreign exchange for the country. Ultimately, if our industry is vibrant and one window operation through SIFC and all other initiatives, you are very right that Pakistan is going to be at the path of development and prosperity. When we are talking about the EU report and whatever Pakistan gets sort of extension into this existing scheme which is going on of the GSP plus. So do you think that Pakistan is also making progress regarding good governance, and we are strengthening our institutions, because that is not only the EU's demand but also Pakistan's own desire as well, because if Pakistan intends to grow, Pakistan wants to be developed, then our institutions must have to be very strong.
Yes, that's the point, and there is no doubt about it, and there is no second opinion about it. And as Dr. Wasim also mentioned, that right after elections things will be in a better position, and things will be in a better, we will be having an elected government, and there will be a very firm and clear policies. And now I think after suffering so much due to bad governance, there is a elite consensus, or there is a consensus at large within the within the country, that there should be a very much rigorous policies and things which needs to be done regarding good governance, and meritocracy should be given full credit and should be implemented. But now again I come to this GSP plus status. I think now in addition to good governance and the addition of value added products in its exports, because right now the Pakistan's trade is heavily dependent only on textiles and apparel.
Yeah, definitely. Already we have talked on that. How much Pakistan geared up to maintain this GSP plus facility in future, as at least when next 4 years facility would be available? How much we are geared up on that?
I think Pakistan has benefited a lot in the past, so we have certain tangible things already in our hands. And despite the fact that we were facing very challenging situation in the past, today we are far more progressive, far more stable than last 10 years. So what all we have? Today we can now diversify our exports in terms of more IT products, which were just highlighted today by the IT minister. Then we can also diversify through the agriculture products and the dairy products, which we have been struggling in the past. So through these three and our traditional products like the in terms of garments and in terms of textile industry, etc. So these 4-5 elements when included, so instead of having $12 billion, now if we can take it to, let's say, as a first step in first year 16, 17, 18 billion, and eventually we take it to $30 billion the last of 4 years, I think the entire revenue outlook of Pakistan would start changing. That would be just only from the EU through GSP plus. So, in that context, the trade deficit which we have with almost every country would start turning into trade surplus. So, when trade surplus comes in, that would help to our overall GDP and overall economic growth year on year basis. So, I feel that we are now in a good position today to move on to the next 4 years term with lot of potentials and with lot of aspirations, where everyone is now actually passionate to deliver. So, and this is about time that we need to move forward in a right direction, which we are already.
Your point is very elaborative. Brigadier Retired Hamid, what you think that Pakistan has to reapply, because when a new facility comes, because this facility after 10 years of GSP plus is going to end on 31st December 2023. So Pakistan has to reapply and submit a work plan as well, outlining commitments to implement these 27 international conventions as well. So where we are standing right now, and whether we are ready to have the work plan and commitments and all that?
Surely, Faisal. And I think we have a history of success also. We had a lot of gray areas which we have already settled. We have gone through a very, I think, pruning survey and review of the FATF also, which also helped us that we shape our policies to also suit to the international standards and international conventions also. And here also that EU has itself acknowledged that Pakistan has come a long way. Pakistan has the legislative framework which now ensures that all the ratification of these treaties are being met. All the conditions, all the challenges which these international treaties has put on us are being successfully met. Here I would also like to say that apart from as well as the implementation of these international treaties and these conditions by the EU are concerned, there is another aspect of which we have to lay special emphasis upon is that not only the export, that our potential has to be increased vertically also and also horizontally also. That means we need to add new products for export. For that, I think we need to also ensure that the policy framework for expansion and also inclusion of the small to medium enterprises and also the large scale manufacturer also should be given incentives in terms of also subsidized electricity and power generation. What we see that presently our environment is not that business conducive because of the high rate of inflation, high rate of interest that also need to be addressed. So it need to be a wholesome approach for I think incentivization of our traders concerned as well as our manufacturers are concerned. So in this case, I think SIFC will have the platform where all these issues can be discussed, where the policy framework can be chalked out and the strategies can be also made so that the Pakistan move on a very steady as far as our trade is concerned, our industry is concerned. And what I think with the EU's this promise of GSP status, which provides to us economy that the GDP ratio, which is about 20% of the industry, can be increased to another 15 to 20%. That means that another 300 billion US dollars can be injected into our GDP if we take the practical and pragmatic steps for enhancing our
Brigadier
export
Retired
to
Ahmed,
EU.
your point well taken. If we talk about Pakistan's overall umbrella of economic prosperity, what we desire, what we intend to attain, do you think, Dr. Wasim, that we are going in a right direction, and soon after electoral process, Pakistan would have, as you have rightly mentioned, Pakistan would gain much of the political stability. Then it gives a real impetus to this particular facility GSP plus because that is going to be happen in first half of the next year.
You see, just follow the events of last 2 years. We came to the verge of default at least 2 to 3 times, but today we are not talking of default anymore. So in just last 2 years, we made a rapid progress, and Pakistan is reasonably stable economically and reasonably stable in terms of security, and also reasonably stable in terms of the overall political structure and political activities. So, we have achieved a lot in just last 2 years. So, in that context, the state institutions have also repositioned themselves, and they are now looking forward for the good elections which are coming up just about 2 months away. So, as a result of those elections, where the EU would have their monitors for ensuring their electoral transparency, etc., and even whenever they have whatever observations they have, they would be then taken care of, but they are also geared up to monitor our elections.
So, when we take that particular instance, what Dr. Wasim has just mentioned about the EU observers for the election process, so do you think that their report would also contribute into that the next GSP plus extension?
Yes, definitely it will have an impact on it, and I think that by giving us this status and this extension for 4 years is a positive development, that they have confidence now in our system and in our, because Pakistan is has a great market for EU buyers and sellers as well. So, I think all these factors will contribute into it, and it will have a positive effect on it.
Definitely. So, this is very important on that juncture, particularly when we are talking about Pakistan's GSP plus status, which is going to end after 10 years, and on 31st of December 2023. Pakistan gained a lot. Pakistan, through this status particularly, this has given us an impetus that Pakistan is going to be a country which is very vibrant and very lucrative, in sense that adapting different sort of things and going through very difficult time, but Pakistan is now getting stable day by day, and Pakistan's economy is actually picking up the pace. So that's why EU report is also very encouraging, very positive in that sense, that Pakistan is going to get another extension into the GSP plus, and whether it's 4 years, whether it's beyond that, but Pakistan is all about geared up on that. But some of the things which is very important, and that is related to that EU has already mentioned about, that Pakistan progressed a lot in ratification of all the 27 international conventions, along with it its legislative process, and then the implementation of these treaties and conventions, which is very important and benchmark of whole of the GSP plus process. But also acknowledge that because of the 3 C's, like COVID, like climate change, and like different conflicts, Pakistan is also suffering a lot. So this is today's Foresight. We are thankful to our guest today, Saira, and also Dr. Wasim in studios. We are thankful to our guests online, Brigadier Retired Hamid. Thank you very much for that. And this is today's whole Foresight. Thank you very much for viewing our show. Allah Hafiz Nasr.